My name is Emily, I am 28 years old, and for 5 years I have been married to a man named Daniel. A man who is now 30. A man who has always been gentle in a world that rewards noise. Always calm in moments where anger feels easier. Always patient even when patience cost him something. A man who has never raised his voice at me, never insulted me, never turned his back when I needed him most. A man who shows love not through grand speeches but through quiet actions that repeat themselves day after day, because when I get sick he sits beside me and makes sure I take my medicine. When I am exhausted he brings me food without being asked. When morning comes he makes tea with sleepy eyes and steady hands. When work keeps me late he cooks dinner even if his own day has already drained him. When I cry he listens without interrupting. When I feel weak he holds me until my breathing slows. And when doubt creeps into my heart he looks me in the eyes and tells me I am strong. And that he is proud of me. And for a long time I knew all of this and still somehow forgot it, because I have a good job, I work in a corporate office, I earn $5,000 every month. And I fought hard to get there by studying late at night, taking extra courses, pushing myself when my body wanted rest and my mind wanted comfort. While Daniel continued to work as a delivery driver earning $2,200 a month. Working long hours under the sun, in the rain, in the cold. Driving endlessly through traffic and fatigue, coming home late with sore feet and dust on his shirt. Yet never complaining, never blaming life, only smiling softly and saying it was okay because he liked working. But somewhere along the way something ugly grew inside me, something quiet and poisonous, disappointment, and I started looking at other couples, at women wearing diamond rings and carrying designer handbags, at men buying cars, houses, and expensive gifts for their wives, and then I would look at Daniel wearing the same shoes for 2 years, buying nothing new for himself, never surprising me with luxury, and comparisons slowly turned into anger, and anger turned into words I should never have spoken. Words like, why don't you do something better, why don't you start a business? Words that made him look down and admit he didn't know how because he had never done business before. Words that made me snap back that other men do it, so why can't you? Words that were met with silence, because Daniel always stayed quiet, always chose peace over argument, even when his eyes looked sad, even when my comparisons kept cutting deeper. When I kept saying he wasn't like other husbands without realizing he was everything those husbands were not. Because while I complained he was giving $1,000 every month to his old and sick parents for their medicine, sending that money before spending anything on himself, giving me the rest of his salary, $1,200, and still hearing me say it wasn't enough, never once hearing thank you, never once being appreciated for the weight he carried alone. Until one evening he came home very late, and when I asked where he had been he quietly told me he was looking for another job. And when I asked if he found one he said not yet, but he would keep trying. And the next day he left before sunrise and returned after sunset looking more tired than ever, smiling less, talking less, until a week later he told me he had found a second job at a restaurant at night where he would earn $2,000 more, and I said good job without asking how he felt, without asking if he was okay. And from that day Daniel stopped living and started surviving, waking before dawn, working all day, working all night, coming home when I was already asleep, losing his laughter, losing his rest, losing himself piece by piece. Until one night I heard something fall in the bathroom and found him sitting on the floor pale and shaking, telling me he was just tired and dizzy. And in that moment fear hit me harder than any argument ever could, because the doctor at the hospital said his body could not take that much work, that he needed rest and sleep. And as I sat beside his bed holding his hand I finally saw the cost of my comparisons, the cost of my silence, the cost of my ungrateful heart. And when he opened his eyes and smiled and told me not to cry because he just wanted to make me proud, something inside me broke and rebuilt itself at the same time, because I realized he never needed to be rich, never needed suits or a big car or diamonds, because what he gave me was love, peace, respect, support, and his entire self, and that was more than enough. And from that day I stopped comparing, stopped complaining, stopped chasing things that shine but mean nothing, and I began to look at Daniel with new eyes and see a man who works hard, who sacrifices quietly, who loves deeply, a man who is not just my husband, but my quiet storm and my safe calm, a reminder that true love does not shout or show off. It stays, it endures, and it never lets go.